Hey everybody, welcome to Heilman and Haver, our latest episode of In the Mix. A very special one for us for a couple of reasons. First of all, it is our return to the Historic Roxy Theatre in Bremerton, where we did our first on-site Heilman and Haver episode, where we interviewed the great Michael Goodnow, who's standing here with us. And we're going to talk to him in a little bit about some of the great things happening here at the Roxy. But right short term, what's happening is 007 weekend. We're celebrating 60 years of James Bond this weekend with 6 great films, curated by our friend Jeremy Arnold, who picked the best Bond film from each of the Bond actors. So those should be interesting. We're going to talk about those in a little bit. We're also going to have a martini event, martini meet and greet, kind of a gathering get-together on Sunday at 3 p.m. To kind of wrap up the weekend before we get started with the Sunday films, where we're going to have some vesper martinis and just kind of mingle and meet and greet. So in the tradition of In the Mix, we're going to make a drink. Now, we've done this drink on our In the Mix episodes before, but never in the context of looking forward to something like we're going to have this weekend. But let me just go through the recipe again, a little bit of history of this drink. And then I'll turn it over to Matt. And Matt's going to talk to Michael about what's going on with the Roxy, the weekend, and et cetera. So, the Vesper Martini. So, this is described in the very first James Bond novel, Casino Royale, as 3 measures of Gordon's, 1 of vodka, half a measure of Quina Lillet. Shake it very well until it's ice cold. Then add a large, thin slice of lemon peel. So, there's the debate. Shaken or stirred martinis. Frankly, I like them stirred. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's cold, it's a martini, and it's going to go down pretty well. The other funny-ish quote about this drink was Vesper asked Bond if he named the drink after her, quote, because of the bitter aftertaste. He replied that, no, he named it after her because once you have tasted it, you won't drink anything else. So, this is, it's gin. They specifically call out Gordon's gin. You can use, whatever. If you're making this at home, you don't have to use Gordon's. You can use any gin. Vodka, we're using Tito's, which they have on stock here at the Roxy. And Lillet Blanc is the closest thing you're going to get to Quina Lillet these days. And you could also use a dry vermouth if you want to make this at home. And you have a dry vermouth and don't have the Lillet. So, all that said, I'm going to get mixing, and we're going to have a drink here in a minute. But in the meantime, why don't you guys talk amongst yourselves?
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Get the important stuff right out front. Get those drinks going. So, Michael Goodnow, glad you're with us.
Yeah, thanks for coming down.
Roxy, we've been here many, many times, but we haven't recorded any of them. Probably since last Christmas when Jeremy was here for our It's a Wonderful Life event.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
And a few changes have happened around here. You want to give us a little lay of the land as far as what's happening and all the exciting things that have taken place?
Yeah, so for just over a month now, the Roxy Foundation, the nonprofit, has actually taken over operations of the theater.
Congrats.
So we're kind of doubling down with our movie club, with what we offer and trying to up the experience. We actually now have a full liquor license, which allows
Congrats
us
again.
allows us to do this.
Yeah, right.
And we've raised about $775,000 to purchase the building, so we're about $38,000 left to raise.
Wow, close.
And we hope to do that by the end of the year and announce that as part of our New Year's Eve celebration.
Yeah, and own the building outright.
Outright, right?
Yeah.
So we're protected as a community asset. We're also sort of doubling down as a community arts and cinema venue. So.
Well, it's a great one. It's a great auditorium. You got the Dolby surround sound. We're really excited for this weekend. Coming up November 11th, 12th, and 13th. Like Greg was saying, Jeremy Arnold, our friend from L.A., our Turner Classic Movies author and Bond aficionado and big fan, is going to be here to do a Q&A with us. He's going to intro all the films much in the same way he did with our the movies of the decade last year, and then came for It's a Wonderful Life. We're really excited about that. And tell us a little bit about what we can expect this weekend, some special events and things.
Yeah, so being a 3-day weekend to mark Veterans Day, we're showing 2 films on Friday. There'll be a 4 o'clock and a 7 o'clock. Each of those will have a intro with Jeremy before, and then again on Saturday Same thing, but in between there'll be a little more structured Q&A. I think you guys are hosting that.
We will be.
With Jeremy between pretty much with all the space we have between the two films. Sunday,
We'll squeeze something in.
Sunday we're going to start a little early with a little bit of a martini mixer, and then the 4 o'clock movie, the 3 o'clock movie, and wrap up the week. Another fun thing that we have in our we tried to get a classic Bond Aston Martin to be parked out front. We will have an Aston Martin. It'll be a newer, so maybe the car of future Bond might show up in a movie with. So
That's great. So plenty of photo ops for everybody who attends. So the movies are at 4 p.m., 7 p.m., Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we've got selections from all 6 of the James Bond actors. So Connery, George Lazenby, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and obviously Daniel Craig. Now we were chatting a little bit before. Actually, let's get our drinks going here, and we can toast our favorite Bond. How's that? So be thinking about who's your. There you are, sir.
A little bit to be desired, but.
All right. Well, cheers to 60 years of Bond here at the Roxy. All right. Oh, it's very smooth. Very smooth. Yeah. So, Greg, who'd you grow up with as Bond, and then who is your favorite Bond?
So I grew up with Roger Moore. My brother and sister, a little bit older, they grew up with Sean Connery. Probably movies like Moonraker and things like that were right in that sweet spot of when I was growing up and going to movies. My favorite, though, I think Daniel Craig has honestly eclipsed that. I thought what he brought to the character was a lot more depth. The secret agent dealing with aging and some of the things that he dealt with were a little more, I thought, more layered and complex, which I thought. But as far as classic, I mean, you look at villains like Jaws, skiing down the slopes, chasing after Bond with those big shiny teeth. I mean, those are things that are etched into my memory. So, yeah. But I'll take any of them. I love Sean Connery. Funny things, we were talking to Jeremy yesterday. Never seen On Her Majesty's Secret Service, so I've not seen the George Lazenby James Bond. So I'm going to be interested to see that.
Greg, I think you and I are about the same age, so you pretty much nailed what I would have said. Definitely, I've just definitely enjoyed each one, and but I really feel that the latest series of Bonds with
Daniel Craig.
I was going to say Craig something.
2 first names.
Is name. I just really they just keep getting better. So so like Roger Moore was my first, and then of course we moved on to oh my goodness,
Timothy Dalton.
No, actually not Timothy Dalton. I don't think of Timothy Dalton as
Brosnan.
Bond. So no, actually I guess it was who was before Moore.
Connery.
I'm really messing this up. Anyways, so Sean
Come
Connery.
Come and watch the movies this weekend.
So I'll be listening at the Q&A.
Yes.
Because I clearly have questions. But anyways, very similar. Just learned to appreciate them all as they went along. Great memories of my extended brothers and sisters and cousins at a drive-in watching, I think it was Moonraker. And so, yeah, we grew up on these films.
Yeah, and I remember when Moonraker was coming out, then they had the Sean Connery return for the non-canon Never Say Never Again, which I remember that was the big, head-to-head, who's the better Bond, because that one came out at the same time, and I think it was Moonraker. I could be wrong. But that was an interesting kind of turn in the Bond series that I thought.
Well, and I'm a big fan of the literary Bond, who really doesn't resemble any of them. I mean, maybe aspects. But I think you could do like a nice big Venn diagram. Each of the actors gets a little piece of what Fleming had in mind. A lot of the characters actually based on Fleming and some of his real life experiences. So that's something else we can chat about with Jeremy. So I hope everybody comes out on Saturday. I got to go with Pierce Brosnan because Pierce was in GoldenEye, and GoldenEye was probably the formative spy film for me at that age. It also correlated with the GoldenEye Nintendo 64 first-person shooter game, which was just mind-blowing. You could play split screen, man with the golden gun, one shot, one kill. Still love that game. So that's just my childhood. And I think that's what Bond really represents for a lot of us, is just kind of childhood memories.
Now you've got me wondering if it's just literally the last Bond I saw is my favorite. So it'll be interesting after the weekend and going back and revisiting some films to maybe a different appreciation or even a different priority.
I put it in my rider that it absolutely had to show GoldenEye. So that's going to be Sunday, followed by Daniel Craig. So that'll be probably a big day for everybody.
Yeah, I think so. But we're going to talk about a lot of things with Jeremy. We're going to talk about villains. We're going to talk about filmmaking and things like that, and music, and how Bond has evolved through the years, and how it's kind of mirrored filmmaking and society as it's come. Because it's 60 years, 6 decades. That's a lot of different styles of filmmaking. There's been, and the society's completely different now than it was then, obviously. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff. So if you can come out and see it, it's going to be a great conversation with Jeremy. You get a really good sampling of all of the Bonds and their films. How about your favorite theme? My favorite theme is Skyfall, I think, because I think Skyfall might be, and we were talking about this before.
Same here.
Yeah, maybe my favorite Bond movie as well.
I almost said Goldmember. It's an Austin Powers movie. Goldfinger. I love Goldfinger because I just, at that era, that decade, I'm a big fan of the 1960s, and just very, very much a 60s theme runs through my head frequently.
And of course, Austin Powers is basically
a
parody
or
satire
of the parodies, yeah.
Of
well, let's give everybody the rundown. So we've got From Russia with Love with Connery. That's going to be Friday evening, along with On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is the single George Lazenby film. And then Saturday, The Spy Who Loved Me with Roger Moore, The Living Daylights with Timothy Dalton. And then Sunday, we've got GoldenEye with Pierce and Mr. Craig with Casino Royale. Funny thing about Casino Royale, first book that was written and one of the later films. And we can get into all the kind of the trivia surrounding that as well. But folks who want tickets, how do they get them? Buy them at the door, obviously. But get them ahead of time.
Yep, you can get them at roxybremerton.org. There is actually a pass you can buy for it's either $90 or $99, and that's on our website only. So the single films are available through our website through showtimes, and then on the front page, if you scroll down, there's a $99 pass that gets you all the movies. And also includes the martini reception.
Great, and that's 3 p.m. Sunday.
The meet and greet.
Meet and greet with Jeremy, yeah. And we just met with Jeremy virtually yesterday. He's excited. He's a great guy, very, very knowledgeable. Not a Bond historian necessarily. That's the one caveat he wants to make sure but an aficionado, and certainly with a breadth of knowledge about the dynasty of Bond. So we're really looking forward to it. I think that just about covers it. I think so. Yeah, and I want to post the ingredients to our show page for this video if people want to make the Vesper. Michael Goodnow, Executive Director of the Roxy Bremerton, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for being here. Mr.
Heilman, any last words?
Just come out this Sunday. I mean, this is the first time that I think 6 Bond movies in DCP, Digital Cinematic P is...
Projection?
Maybe. Regardless, it's digital.
The martinis are already kicking in, I think.
But usually you get one of these Bond films, an art house will show it one weekend or one event, but to have 6 of these great films in one weekend and one event is a rare thing, and I think you got to come out and take advantage of it. Yeah, I think you'll be glad you did.
The Booker was surprised that the studio controlling the Bond films has changed. And so they were a little surprised we were able to get what we asked for. So it really is. You've not seen this. So this is a pretty big deal.
All right. Well, gentlemen, cheers again. 60 years of Bond here at the Roxy. And we hope to see, we'll all be there. Hope to see everybody out there. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come out for all of them. And for one low price of $99, you can get it all. And the martini reception. So roxybremerton.org, correct?
Yes.
All right, and watch their social media for more info. And we're Heilman and Haver. Cheers to James Bond.